to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then she suggested that, don't worry, you don't stay here, but instead you make your headquarters in Jagannath Puri. Because Jagannath Puri, Orissa, which is in Orissa, is very close to Bengal. So she requested Mahaprabhu that instead of traveling very far, you please make your headquarters in Jagannath Puri. And because devotees are constantly traveling in between Jagannath Puri and Navadvip, I will always get to hear news about your pastimes. In this way, I will be close to you and I can still maintain my life by hearing about your pastimes. So in this way, Mother Sachi, she offers this request and Mahaprabhu submits. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he makes Jagannath Puri as his headquarters. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas at the age of 24. Then for the next 6 years, he was traveling and preaching. Firstly, South Indian tour, and then his travels towards Vrindavan. But then for the remaining 18 years, he was just based in Jagannath Puri only. His last 18 years. And this was all due to the request of his mother. Now in these verses, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is ordering Jagadananda Pandit. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to pacify the feelings of separation his mother was experiencing, every year he used to send Jagadananda Pandit to go to Navadvip and meet his mother. And he would instruct, okay, Jagadananda Pandit, when you go to Navadvip, when you see my mother, offer hundreds of obeisances on my behalf at the lotus feet of my mother. And then when he would send Jagadananda Pandit to go, he would also send Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath. He would pack, different Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath to be sent for his mother and all the other Vaishnavas. And he was also instructing Jagadananda Pandit that when you meet her, tell her that every day, whenever you remember me, whenever you cook for me, I personally appear. And I personally accept all the offerings that you cook for me every day. So in this way, Mahaprabhu, he relays these different messages to pacify his mother's feelings of separation. So it is said that, my Guru Maharaj, he mentions that in our spiritual lives, we are helped by many different devotees to grow in bhakti. And my Guru Maharaj mentions that one of the very important Vaishnava qualities is that of gratitude. And to every single devotee who has helped us in our spiritual life, we should always make a point to thank them, to offer some gratitude and appreciation. My Guru Maharaj says that he makes it a point himself that whenever somehow or other he comes across a devotee who has helped him in his spiritual life, that could be 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years ago, he always makes it a point to come up to them and thank them, to helping them in the spiritual life. So in this way, Mahaprabhu, he has a lot of gratitude towards his mother. So that's why he is showing so much love, affection and care in regard to his mother, because his mother has taken care of him in Navadvip for 24 years. So he's feeling so much gratitude, and even after taking sannyas, still every year he used to send one of his very close personal devotees to go and speak to his mother, serve her mother, narrate his pastimes, pacify her, so on and so forth. So from this we're seeing how much gratitude Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has towards devotees in general, towards his mother, and the whole devotee care Mahaprabhu is showing. Like in our ISKCON we have a whole department, devotee care department. So Mahaprabhu, he is the original head of devotee care. We can see how wonderfully and sweetly he takes care of his devotees. Like the devotees in Jagannath Puri, every day they will have a big ecstatic kirtan, and after all the devotees are tired, Mahaprabhu will personally sit down all the devotees and personally serve all the devotees prasad. And it's given that Mahaprabhu, he knew exactly which devotee liked which item, and he would order the service that, this Prabhu, he likes sweet rice, so you serve him extra sweet rice. This Prabhu, he likes sabji more, you serve him more of the sak sabji, or this sabji, that sabji. Like this Mahaprabhu, he knew exactly which devotees like which items, and he would ask the service to serve that item more to different devotees. So Mahaprabhu was very, very personal, when it came to taking care of his devotees. And he's like the exemplary standard when it comes to devotee care. So Mahaprabhu here, he's demonstrating that he understands that, his mother, she's going through a lot of hardship in Navadvip by herself. So that's why he's personally sending one of his most confidential associates every year to go to Navadvip and stay for some time with his mother and pacify her mother. So in this way, we can also learn from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu how we should have very affectionate dealings with devotees and take care of devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the topmost gem of all devotees of mothers. He rendered service to his mother even after he had accepted the vow of sannyas. So technically, he could have been criticized by public for doing such a thing, because after one takes sannyas, one should, be very strict and not have any connection with one's previous family. And because when one takes sannyas, he accepts the whole world as his family. And the sky is his roof, and the floor of the earth is his bed, like that. So he's supposed to be fully renounced, fully detached. So technically, according to strict standards of sannyas, the people in general, they could have criticized him. What kind of sannyasi is he? Always, sending someone to his mother, sending these messages to his mother. He should be very strict, have no relation. He's becoming too much attached to his previous family life. But still, Mahaprabhu is foregoing all of that and still doing this. He's still taking the risk and doing this because for him, this matters more. Taking care of his mother matters more than this. Okay, text 15. Jagadananda Pandit thus went to Nadia, and when he met Sachimata, he conveyed to her all the Lord's salutations. He then met all the other devotees, headed by Advaita Acharya, and gave them the prasad of Lord Jagannath. After staying for 1 month, he took permission from Mother Sachi to leave. When he went to Advaita Acharya and also asked his permission to return, Advaita Prabhu gave him a message to deliver to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya had written a sonnet in equivocal language with an import that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand, but others could not. In his sonnet, Advaita Acharya first offered his obeisances hundreds and thousands of times onto the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He then submitted the following statement at his lotus feet. So Jagannatha Pandit, he arrives at Navadvip. He talks with Mother Sachi and he talks with all the other devotees. And then just before he's about to leave, he's meeting with Advaita Acharya. And this time Advaita Acharya, he requests for a message to be sent on his behalf to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Advaita Acharya, he writes a particular message in like a riddle, which only Mahaprabhu could understand, but no one else could understand. So what was that message Advaita Acharya wrote for Mahaprabhu? We're going to hear now. Please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him also that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand. Further tell him that those now mad in ecstatic love are no longer interested in the material world. Also tell Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one who has also become a madman in ecstatic love has spoken these words. When he heard Advaita Acharya's statement, Jagadananda Pandit began to laugh. And when he returned to Jagannath Puri, Nilachal, he informed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of everything. So what does this, apparent riddle mean? So Advaita Acharya, he is saying, please inform Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. So if you remember, it was Advaita Acharya who requested Mahaprabhu to come. So it is said that because of the loud callings of two devotees, particularly, Mahaprabhu, he descended. One is Haridas Thakur, because of Haridas Thakur's intense calling and japa, and the second is Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, he used to feel so much compassion for all the fallen conditioned souls that very intensely, every day, he used to worship his Saligram Shira with Ganga water and Tulsi leaves, intensely praying for the Lord to descend out of intense compassion. And this compassion of Advaita Acharya, we can understand because Advaita Acharya is none other than Sadashiv and Mahavishnu combined together. So Sadashiv, Prabhupada, he explains that we have 3 mothers and fathers. Every single living entity has 3 mothers and fathers. Firstly, Prabhupada says we have a biological mother and father. And thirdly, we have, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath as our eternal spiritual mother and father. Then Prabhupada says we have a third mother and father, which is Mother Durga and Lord Shiva. Prabhupada says these are our material mother and father. So there's a biological mother and father, there is a material mother and father, and then there's a spiritual mother and father, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath. So Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati or Durga Devi, they are said to be the mother and father of all the living entities in this universe. So naturally, when a father sees his children suffering, he feels great compassion. So this compassion of Advaita Acharya, due to which he is intensely praying for Mahaprabhu to come, this is said to be the compassion of Sadashiv, who is said to be the father of all the living entities. So he is feeling great pain seeing everyone wasting their lives, going towards hell, not taken to bhakti. So in that mood, he is praying to Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu is saying that, this Advaita Acharya, only at his request I came. Advaita Acharya, he is saying that, previously I had requested Mahaprabhu to come, and because of my prayers he came. But now, tell him that everyone here in this material world, or everyone here in this planet, have already become mad just like him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a madman, he came, and he has made everyone else mad. And in this way, what Advaita Acharya is trying to say is that the purpose for which he requested Mahaprabhu to come is now fulfilled. He has sufficiently spread Krishna consciousness, spread ecstatic love of Godhead, and Advaita Acharya is saying, inform him that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand. Which means he is saying, now, the whole world has been flooded with Krishna Prem. The purpose for which I called him is now fulfilled. So in this way, Advaita Acharya, he's hinting to the Lord that thank you for coming and fulfilling my request. Now the purpose for which I called you is fulfilled. Now you can, go back. Now you can unmanifest your pastimes. So that is the meaning of this sonnet that Advaita Acharya is sending to Mahaprabhu. After hearing the equivocal sonnet by Advaita Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quietly smiled. That is his order, he said. Then he fell silent. Although he knew the secret, Swarup Damodar inquired from the Lord, what is the meaning of this sonnet? I could not understand it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Advaita Acharya is a great worshipper of the Lord and is very expert in the regulative principles enjoined in the Vedic literatures. Advaita Acharya invites the Lord to come and be worshipped, and to perform the worship, he keeps the deity for some time. After the worship is completed, he sends the deity somewhere else. I do not know the meaning of this sonnet, nor do I know what is in Advaita Prabhu's mind. So in a joking way, Mahaprabhu is teasing Advaita Acharya. He's saying that, just see the behavior of Advaita Acharya. He's inviting a deity to come, then he's performing worship to the deity, and for some time he continues worshiping deity. Then after he's finishing worship the deity, he's telling the deity, okay, now you go away. Now I don't want to worship you anymore. My worship is done. Now you please go away. Now you leave. So this way, jokingly, Mahaprabhu is teasing Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is a great mystic. No one can understand him. He is expert in writing sonnets that even I myself cannot understand. Hearing this, all the devotees were astonished, especially Swarup Damodar, who became somewhat morose. So Swarup Damodar Goswami, he then becomes morose, understanding that very soon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will unmanifest his pastimes and leave this world. Text 30. From that day on, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's emotional state changed remarkably. His feelings of separation from Krishna doubled in intensity. As his feelings of separation in the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani increased at every moment, the Lord's activities, both day and night, were now wild, insane performances. I was just hearing one pastime today of Srila Prabhupada. One time he was talking to some devotees about the Goswamis, how the Goswamis were always feeling separation from Krishna. And to help the devotees understand this, what Prabhupada did in that room was little Saraswati, the first child in ISKCON. So little baby Saraswati was there, and Prabhupada had a deity or a doll of Krishna. And Prabhupada showed that deity of Krishna to baby Saraswati and said, here is Krishna. And Saraswati was enjoying taking darshan and offering prayers, looking at Krishna. And then when she wasn't looking, Prabhupada immediately, while Saraswati was a bit absent-minded, was looking somewhere else, Prabhupada hid Krishna behind his back. And then Prabhupada asked baby Saraswati, Saraswati, where is Krishna? Where did he go? And then Saraswati looks. She sees that Krishna was previously on Prabhupada's lap, but now he's not there. Then she starts looking around the room and trying to look, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And then she starts traveling all around the room, looking in different corners, looking in the shelf, looking under the bed. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And no matter how hard she's trying, she can't find Krishna. And she's just frankly searching for many minutes. And Prabhupada, all the while, he's smiling and enjoying the fun. And then, finally, one of the devotees goes up to Saraswati, baby Saraswati, she's just a little child, and then asks Saraswati that, Saraswati, who has Krishna? Who has Krishna? Like that, they ask Saraswati. Then Saraswati thinks for some time, then immediately it comes to mind, Prabhupada has Krishna. And then she looks at Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada from behind his back, he brings out Krishna. And then Saraswati, Jai Krishna, like that she shouts. And then Prabhupada then explains to the devotees that this is what the Goswamis were going through. Just like Saraswati was frantically searching in the room, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Is Krishna there? Krishna there? In the same way, the Goswamis were constantly mad in separation from Krishna. So that same mood is being demonstrated here by Caitanya Mahaprabhu. As his feelings of separation in the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani increased at every moment, the Lord's activities, both day and night, were now wild, insane performances. Suddenly there awoke within Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu the scene of Lord Krishna's departure to Mathura, and he began exhibiting the symptom of ecstatic madness, known as Udgurna. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a madman, holding Ramananda Roy by his neck, and he questioned Swarup Damodar, thinking him to be his gopi friend. Just as Srimati Radharani inquired from a personal friend, Visakha, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, reciting that very verse, began speaking like a madman. So this is the verse we're going to read now that Mahaprabhu was speaking out loud to Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy. So Mahaprabhu, he is speaking in the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani. And Swarup Damodar, he is none other than Lalita Sakhi, and Ramananda Roy is also none other than Visakha Sakhi. My dear friend, where is Krishna, who is like the moon rising from the ocean of Maharaj Nanda's dynasty? So many times the gopis, they will compare Krishna to the moon. And I like one description that Caitanya Mahaprabhu gives of Krishna in his talks with Srila Sanatana Goswami. So if we go to the end of Madhya Lila, Mahaprabhu describes about the beauty of Krishna. And Mahaprabhu says to Sanatana Goswami that Krishna's body is like a city of moons. And in any city, there will be one king or one president who is ruling over the city. So in this city of moons, which is Krishna's body, there is one king. And who is that king in the city of moons? The king in the city of moons is Krishna's lotus face. So that is said to be the king in the city of moons. And any king in a city, there will always be a king. and the king will always have some ministers under him who will do, many different tasks for the king, confidential tasks. So the king is Krishna's lotus face, that is said to be the king of all the moons in the city of moons. And the two confidential ministers of this king are said to be Krishna's two eyes. So just like a king, whenever he wants to do any important tasks, he'll immediately call his very close ministers and ask them, I want this to be done, I want that to be done. So in the same way, the most confidential tasks Krishna will do through his eyes, which are said to be the two very close ministers of the king, which is Krishna's lotus face. So what is this confidential task the eyes are doing? It is said that Krishna's eyes, they act just like a bow and arrow. And Krishna, when he glances at the gopis with his beautiful eyes, he shoots arrows into the hearts of the gopis, and in this way, he steals the hearts and the minds of the gopis. Like this, Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he very beautifully describes to Sanatana Goswami. And he explains that in the city of moons of Krishna's body, there is 24 and a half principal moons. So what are these 24 and a half moons in Krishna's body? Firstly, there is the 10 toenails of Krishna. So the 10 toenails of Krishna, each one of them are considered as one beautiful moon. Then there is the 10 fingernails of Krishna. The 10 fingernails of Krishna are another 10 moons. So there's 10 toenails, 10 fingernails, that makes 20. Then there are Krishna's two chubby cheeks. They're considered as another 2 beautiful full moons. So that gives us 22. Then Krishna's face is also considered as another full moon. So that's 23. Then there is a sandalwood pulp spot on Krishna's forehead. That's 24. And then there is the forehead of Krishna himself. So the forehead of Krishna is considered as half a moon. So in this way there is 24 and a half moons, principal moons, in Krishna's body. So it's a whole city of moons. But in the city of moons, there's 24 and a half principal moons. And the king of all these moons is the lotus face. And the ministers that do all the confidential tasks for this king is Krishna's two eyes. So in this way, very beautifully, Mahaprabhu describes the beauty of Krishna to Sanatana Goswami. Where is Krishna? His head decorated with a peacock feather. Where is he? Where is Krishna, whose flute produces such a deep sound? Oh, where is Krishna, whose bodily luster is like the luster of the blue Indranila jewel? So Krishna's bodily luster is compared to the luster of a blue Indranila jewel. So it is said, like recently we are celebrating Radhastami, and it said that one of the favorite dresses or saris that Srimati Radharani likes to wear is blue in color. And the reason given in the Shastras of why Srimati Radharani likes to wear blue is because Krishna's complexion is blue in complexion. So when she wears blue, it reminds her of Krishna. So that's why she likes to wear blue. In the same way, Krishna, he wears yellow dhoti. And why does Krishna like wearing yellow dhoti? Because Srimati Radharani's complexion is golden in complexion. So Krishna wears yellow because it reminds him of Srimati Radharani. So Radharani, she likes wearing blue because it reminds her of Krishna. In the same way, Krishna likes wearing yellow because it reminds him of Srimati Radharani. So each wears the favorite color of the other to remind themselves of them. And here it's mentioned about Krishna's peacock feather and his wonderful dancing. So there's one beautiful pastime of how Krishna has actually got that peacock feather in his turban. So it's mentioned one time Krishna was playing on his flute, and when the peacocks, they hear the wonderful sound vibration of Krishna's flute, they all start dancing in ecstasy, in tune with Krishna's flute. And Krishna is very pleased with the peacocks dancing. And then, out of fun, Krishna, he himself starts dancing along with the peacocks. And then Krishna, he also starts singing. So initially Krishna is playing the flute, then he starts dancing, then he starts singing, and then he starts dancing and singing in tune with his own singing. And the peacocks are also dancing But Krishna's dancing and singing becomes so intense that after some time, the peacocks, they get tired, but Krishna is still going on. And then the peacocks realize that, okay, Krishna is the supreme dancer in Vraja. And out of gratitude towards Krishna, they're feeling great gratitude for Krishna to dance with them, to sing with them, and they're very pleased with Krishna's dancing. They're very amazed to see such a wonderful dance performance done by Krishna. And while all this was happening, while Krishna was beautifully singing and dancing amidst all of these peacocks, all the other animals in the forest, they find out that Krishna is dancing with the peacocks. So rumor spreads all around Vrindavan, and all the animals of Vrindavan, they all come to see this wonderful performance of Krishna dancing in Vrindavan. And it's mentioned that some of the animals, they start climbing and walking to the top of hills, the different hills where Krishna was dancing, so they could get a nice view. Just like, in our modern day, we'll have many dance programs or entertainments. Some famous singer will be coming. They will hire a particular stadium, and some famous band or music star will do some performance, some singing or dancing performance, and thousands of people will come. All around the stadium will get a nice view of the musical performance or the dance performance. So in this way, when all the animals from Vrindavan, they found out that Krishna is dancing with the peacocks, they all wanted to see this wonderful performance. So all the animals of Raj, they all come to see this wonderful performance. And some of the animals were climbing to the top of hills so they could get a nice aerial view of how Krishna is dancing. So finally, Krishna's dancing becomes so intense, the peacocks, they can't cope up. And then it's just Krishna himself dancing. Then at the end, when Krishna stops, the peacocks are feeling very grateful to Krishna for dancing with them, for performing such a wonderful performance. And the leader of the peacocks, out of great gratitude, leader of the peacock, walks towards Krishna, bows down at Krishna's lotus feet, and out of gratitude, this leader of the peacocks takes out feathers from his back and offers it at the lotus feet of Krishna. Because the peacocks, they were feeling great gratitude, they wanted to offer something to Krishna. And in the peacocks' minds, the best thing they can offer, the best thing they have they can offer is their feathers. Their feathers is their pride, their feathers is their opulence. So they pluck out some of their feathers and they offer it at the lotus feet of Krishna, because that is the best thing they can offer. And Krishna, he is very pleased with the offering given to him with great love and devotion. He takes those feathers and he puts it on his turban. From that day onwards, it is said, Krishna is always wearing a peacock feather in his turban. So from this pastime, we see how we should offer the best of whatever we have at Krishna's lotus feet. In the peacock's case, the best thing they had to offer to Krishna was their feathers, that is their opulence. So they offer that to Krishna. In the same way, all of us, we have different talents, skills, abilities. So whatever skills, talents, abilities we have, the best of that we should offer to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. And same way, Prabhupada explains that in terms of our lifespan, the best time of our lifespan is when we're young. When we're young, that is when we can do the maximum service. That is when we have so much youthful energy to do service. So for those of us who are in our youthful days, we should engage every single moment of this youthful age in Krishna's service. Just like the peacocks, they're offering the best of what they have. In the same way, Prabhupada explains, we should offer the best of our years in Krishna's service. Not like how some people say, while you're young, you enjoy. When you're 70, 80 years old, then you can serve Krishna. That is not a good proposal, Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says we should offer Krishna the best of everything. So when we're 70, 80, our body is already old and diseased, how much service can we do? So while we're young and strong, those years of youthful energy we should offer to Krishna. The best of our years we should offer in Krishna's service. And the second thing we also learn is how grateful Krishna is. Anything we offer to him with love and devotion, Krishna will accept. Because technically speaking, like feathers, it's not something you would think to put, or touch. Like some feathers falls on the ground, you wouldn't think of decorating yourself with that. So, some people might consider it as muchi, or dirty or unclean. But Krishna, he is understanding the intent of the peacocks, that out of gratitude, with love and devotion they're offering. And Krishna, he is very perfectly reciprocating with the peacocks, saying, okay, you're offering this to me with love and devotion. Okay, from this day onwards, I will always wear your peacock feather on my head. So Krishna is very, very grateful for whatever his devotees offer with love and devotion. So much so, like we see with Vidura's wife, out of love and devotion, she was even offering him banana skin. But Krishna, all he wants is bhakti. He was so much mesmerized by her bhakti that he was even willing to eat the skin of bananas. So it doesn't matter what exactly we're offering, as long as it's done with proper mood in love and devotion, Krishna will no doubt reciprocate, and he feels a lot of gratitude for whatever his devotees offer to him. Oh, where is Krishna, whose bodily luster is like the luster of the blue Indranila jewel? Where is Krishna, who is so expert in rasa dancing? Oh, where is he who can save my life? Kindly tell me where to find Krishna, the treasure of my life and the best of my friends. Feeling separation from him, I hereby condemn Providence, the shaper of my destiny. The family of Nanda Maharaj is just like an ocean of milk, wherein Lord Krishna has arisen like the full moon to illuminate the entire universe. The eyes of the residents of Braja are like chokora birds that continuously drink the nectar of his bodily luster and thus live peacefully. My dear friends, where is Krishna? Kindly let me see him. My heart breaks at not seeing his face even for a moment. Kindly show him to me immediately, otherwise I cannot live. The women of Vrindavan are just like lilies growing hot in the sun of lusty desires, but moon-like Krishna makes them all jubilant by bestowing upon them the nectar of his hands. O my dear friend, where is my moon now? Save my life by showing him to me. My dear friend, where is that beautiful helmet with a peacock feather upon it, like a rainbow upon a new cloud? Where are those yellow garments shining like lightning? And where is that necklace of pearls that resemble flocks of ducks flying in the sky? The blackish body of Krishna triumphs over the new blackish rain cloud. So it is said that Krishna, he wears a necklace of pearls. And the metaphor given to describe those necklace of pearls, it said that this necklace of pearls that Krishna wears is just like a row of ducks. So you can imagine a row of beautiful white ducks. That's how Krishna's pearls look like. And description of Krishna's teeth Mahaprabhu gives is that the row of beautiful white teeth of Krishna are just like a row of jasmine buds. So Krishna's teeth are compared to a row of jasmine buds, and his pearl necklace is compared to a row of beautiful white ducks. If a person's eyes even once captures that beautiful body of Krishna, it remains always prominent within his heart. Krishna's body resembles the sap of the mango tree, for when it enters the minds of women, it will not come out, despite great endeavor. Thus Krishna's extraordinary body is like a thorn of the Saya berry tree. So now Mahaprabhu, he's comparing Krishna's body to the sap of a mango tree. So if you look at different fruit trees, the sap they produce will be very sticky in nature. So Mahaprabhu is saying that Krishna's body is like that. It's like the very sticky sap of a mango tree. Which means, like, say you put your hand into something very sticky like honey. Then it will be very hard for you to cleanse your hand of that sticky substance. So the sap of a mango tree is supposed to be very, very sticky in nature. And once you touch it will be very, very difficult for you to get that sap off. So the gopis, they're saying that Krishna is like that. Once you take darshan of Gopinath, that's it. Your mind just will be stuck in Krishna's form. No matter how you try, you can't get Krishna out of your mind. It's just like the sap of a mango tree. So in this way, the gopis are describing the darshan of Gopinath. That once you take darshan of this blue boy, that's it. No matter how hard you try, you can never forget him. He will be stuck in your mind forever. Krishna's bodily luster shines like the Indranila gem and surpasses the luster of the tamal tree. The luster of his body drives the entire world mad because providence has made it transparent by refining the essence of the mellow of conjugal love and mixing it with moonshine. So it said that Krishna's bodily luster is like that of a tamal tree. So if you remember our famous Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan, in the courtyard of the temple there is a beautiful tamal tree. And actually when devotees were building that temple, they were going to cut off that tree because it's just like a random tree in the middle of the temple room. Just like, we have a temple room here. It would be a bit awkward to just have a tree right in the middle of the temple room. So there was a random tree in the middle of the temple courtyard. So naturally devotees, they were going to cut that tree off and just lay full marble floor over there. But when Prabhupada, he heard about this, Prabhupada immediately he stopped the devotees and said, don't cut this tree, let this tree be there. So then devotees, they built everything around that tamal tree. So even now if you go to Vrindavan, that original tree during Prabhupada's time, it passed away after some years, but then they again replanted another tamal tree. And in the courtyard of the Krishna Vrindavan temple. And one thing I was hearing, when we went to Vrindavan recently, one day we were in Bhagavatam class and His Grace Sutta Prabhu, he was giving Bhagavatam class. And he was one of the personal servants of Srila Prabhupada. He has a lot of beautiful Prabhupada memories to share. And he was mentioning that devotees, they come to Vrindavan, and during Prabhupada's times, when devotees, they used to come to Vrindavan, they just used to go sightseeing to different places to see different holy places around Vrindavan. There's hundreds and thousands of different wonderful holy places we can see. And some devotees, they were even skipping Bhagavatam class and instead going out to see these different sites. And when Prabhupada found out about this, the devotees, instead of coming to his classes, are going sightseeing to different sites in Vrindavan. Prabhupada, he told the devotees that there is no need for you to go to this place, that place, this place, that place around Vrindavan. Actually, when I built this Krishna Balram temple, I have taken all the holy places of Vraja and I have stored all the holy places of Vraja in the courtyard of the Krishna Balram temple. So you don't have to go anywhere else, you just stay here, everything is here. So in this way, Prabhupada, he instructed his disciples. So this was what Suttakriti Prabhu was sharing with us. So if we go to Vrindavan, and we only go to Krishna Balram temple, nowhere else, we haven't lost anything. Because as Prabhupada himself is saying, he has taken all the holy places of Vraja, and he has placed all the holy places of Vraja in the courtyard of the Krishna Balram temple, where that famous tamal tree is there. So how merciful Srila Prabhupada is. He's giving us the best of everything. The deep vibration of Krishna's flute surpasses the thundering of new clouds and attracts the oral reception of the entire world. Thus the inhabitants of Vrindavan rise and pursue that sound, drinking the showering nectar of Krishna's bodily luster like thirsty chataka birds. Krishna is the reservoir of art and culture, and he is the panacea that saves my life. O my dear friend, since I live without him, who is the best among my friends? I condemn the duration of my life. I think that Providence has cheated me in many ways. Why does Providence continue the life of one who does not wish to live? This thought aroused anger and lamentation in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who then recited a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that chastises Providence and makes an accusation against Krishna. O Providence, you have no mercy. You bring embodied souls together through friendship and affection. But before their desires are fulfilled, you separate them. Your activities are like the foolish pranks of children. So in his ecstasy, now Mahaprabhu, in the ecstasy of the gopis, he is now criticizing or chastising providence or destiny. That, oh providence, oh destiny, you're so foolish, you're just like a little child who doesn't know what he's doing, aimlessly doing different things. You're so foolish, you bring two people together, and these two people, they establish a loving relationship, and just before they're about to get closer, you just suddenly separate them, causing heartbreak for both the parties. What kind of thing is this? You're just like a foolish child. This way, out of ecstasy, the gopis are criticizing providence. Providence, you do not know the purport of loving affairs, and therefore you baffle all our endeavors. This is very childish of you. If we could catch you, we would give you such a lesson that you would never again make such arrangements. So the gopis are chastising providence, that what you're doing is very childish. How could you separate us and Krishna? If we could somehow or other catch you, we will teach you a lesson that you will never forget. This way the gopis are chastising. O cruel providence, you are very unkind, for you bring together in love people who are rarely in touch with each other. Then after you have made them meet, but before they are fulfilled, you again spread them far apart. O providence, you are so unkind. You reveal the beautiful face of Krishna and make the mind and eyes greedy. But after they have drunk that nectar for only a moment, you whisk away Krishna to another place. This is a great sin, because you take away what you have given as charity. So if you remember the 17th chapter of Gita, Krishna talks about charity in different modes. And Krishna explains charity in the mode of goodness means you give as a matter of duty to someone who deserves charity, and you give without any expectation of anything in return. And Krishna explains charity in mode of passion means you give but you expect something in return. So you're giving something, but at the same time you're thinking, okay, I'll give you this now, but in the future you should also give me something in return. Or someone is giving charity to get some name and fame. That is also charity in mode of passion. Thirdly, Krishna explains, if someone grudgingly gives charity, that is also charity in the mode of passion. For example, someone in our family might force us to give charity. Like our parents say, okay, you have a lot of money, give something in charity to this person or to a temple. And we don't want to give in charity, okay, but our parents are saying, just to calm down our parents, we give in charity, grudging mood. I don't want to give, but okay, to satisfy my parents, I will give something. So that kind of charity, Krishna says, is a mode of passion. And then charity in ignorance, Krishna explains, is when you aimlessly give charity to someone who doesn't deserve it, to a person who's unqualified. So that is charity in mode of ignorance. And Krishna also says that if we give charity, okay, the person might be appropriate, the person might be a Vaishnava or Brahmana, someone appropriate to give in charity. So the person could be proper, recipient of charity. But if we offer charity without proper respect, then that charity immediately becomes charity in the mode of ignorance. So the person whom we're offering charity could be a proper Vaishnava Brahmana, but when we're giving charity, if somehow or other we disrespect that person, then that immediately becomes charity in the mode of ignorance. So we have to be careful in how we give charity also. So we can't just say, okay, here, take it like that. It has to be done out of love and affection. Otherwise, Krishna says, immediately you'll go into charity in the mode of ignorance. Now, here the gopis are saying that if someone gives something in charity and then asks for that thing back in return, then that is like charity, also charity in the mode of ignorance, or even worse. In fact, that is considered to be a sinful activity. So say we give something in charity, then again we ask for that thing back in return from that person, then that is said to be a big sin according to Shastra. That is how King Nriga, he got in trouble. So if you remember the story of King Nriga, how he became a lizard. So he was a very great king, he had so much wealth and opulence, and he gave millions and millions of cows in charity to, millions of brahmanas, thousands and thousands of brahmanas. One day, accidentally, one cow from a herd of, many cows of one brahmana, which had already given in charity, accidentally, just wanders off. Animals, they're less intelligent, they don't know. Now and then they just wander off here and there. So one cow, he just wanders off and goes into the camp of a group of cows that he's just about to give in charity to another brahmana. So then he accidentally gives a cow which is already given in charity to one brahmana to another brahmana. And because of that sin of taking away something he's already given in charity, he has to take the body of a lizard. So and then Krishna, if you look at the end of that chapter in Krishna book, Krishna gives like a whole lecture to his sons about how, one should never touch the possessions of a brahmana. A brahmana's possessions are very sacred. If some or other we touch, or we steal anything, or we give something in charity to brahmanas and then again ask for it back, that is a very great sin. And if you look at the consequences Krishna gives, it's like very scary. Like Krishna says, you will suffer in hell for this many thousands of years. Not only you, your whole family and many, many generations of your family will have to suffer in hell if you touch the possessions of a brahmana. So it's very, very severe consequences. So if we give something in charity and then we ask for it back, then that is said to be a sinful activity according to Shastra. So using this, the gopis are chastising destiny or providence. That, my dear providence, out of your magnanimity, you have given Krishna to us in charity. And we have been enjoying Krishna's presence for so long. But now that very same thing you have given to us in charity, that same thing you are forcibly taking away from us. So this is a great sin, and because of the sin, you deserve to be punished. So in this way, the gopis are chastising destiny. O misbehaved providence, if you reply to us, Akrura is actually at fault, why are you angry with me? Then I say to you, providence, you have taken the form of Akrura and have stolen Krishna away. No one else would behave like this. But this is the fault of my own destiny. Why should I needlessly accuse you? There is no intimate relationship between you and me. Krishna, however, is my life and soul. It is we who live together, and it is he who has become so cruel. He for whom I have left everything is personally killing me with his own hands. Krishna has no fear of killing women. Indeed, I am dying for him, but he does not even turn back to look at me. Within a moment, he has broken off our loving affairs. Yet, why should I be angry with Krishna? It is the fault of my own misfortune. The fruit of my sinful activities has ripened, and therefore Krishna, who has always been dependent on my love, is now indifferent. This means that my misfortune is very strong. In this way, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu lamented in the mood of separation. Alas, alas, O Krishna, where have you gone? Feeling in his heart the ecstatic emotions of the gopis, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu agonized in their words, saying, O Govinda, O Damodara, O Madhava. Okay, we'll stop here. So hopefully Ghanshyam Prabhu, he should come tomorrow to continue. Yes, sir.
In what way Mahaprabhu is saying he's completely dependent on
Sachimata. Text number 10. Mother, please do not take this as an offense, for I, your son, am completely dependent upon you. So the question is, what sense is Mahaprabhu saying that he is completely dependent upon his mother? So it is said that in material life, the more independent we become, the more people look up to us as a greater personality. But in spiritual life, Prabhupada explains is the opposite. Prabhupada says in spiritual life, more dependent we become on the association of Vaishnavas, Guru and Krishna, the more we're glorified, the more we're said to be advanced in spiritual life. But in mature life, it's the opposite. The more independent we are, the more we do things ourselves, the more bigger of a man we are, and the more people look up to us. But in spiritual life, Prabhupada explains, it's the other way around. Advanced devotees, they genuinely feel very, very dependent on the association of other devotees, on the association of their spiritual master, and on the association of Krishna. And Prabhupada says, more we are dependent on Guru, Krishna, and the Vaishnavas, more advanced we are. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he exemplifies this by giving one analogy. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says that the association of the Vaishnavas, they are like my walking stick. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, I am old, I am invalid, I am blind, I cannot see where I am going, and if I try to walk on my own endeavor, I can only walk a few steps. Then I will fall down and I will slip. But because I have this walking stick, which is the association of the Vaishnavas, I am able to continue on in the path of bhakti. And this walking stick of Sadhu Sangha is protecting me from falling down. If I didn't have this walking stick, any moment I can slip and fall down. If I didn't have this walking stick, I can only go a few meters, then I have to stop. But because I have this walking stick, I'm able to continue progressing in bhakti. So it's a very wonderful analogy Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives. So in this way, he is explaining how a devotee, he should always feel himself to be dependent on the association of other Vaishnavas. So that same mood Mahaprabhu is exemplifying here. He is saying, his mother is a devotee, a Vaishnava, and Mahaprabhu is feeling that dependency on his mother's association. So that same dependency we should also have with all the devotees in our community. We should never think that we don't require Sadhu Sangha. Mahaprabhu in one place in Caitanya Caritamrta, he explains that it's not that Sadhu Sangha is only for the beginning stages. Like we have the 9 stages of bhakti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, so on and so forth, to Krishna Prem. Mahaprabhu is explaining in one place that in every stage of bhakti we need Sadhu Sangha. Mahaprabhu says, even in the stage of bhava, even in the stage of Krishna Prema, one needs Sadhu Sangha. There can never come a point in time where we can say we don't have Sadhu Sangha. Even if we reach the top of Krishna Prem, still Mahaprabhu says we need association of devotees. So that was the fault of Bharat Maharaj. He was on the stage of bhava, but he didn't have association of devotees. So therefore, he fell down by being attracted to a deer. If there were other devotees around him, then the devotees would have corrected him that, Bharat Prabhu, I think you're becoming too attached to this deer. I haven't seen you coming to any temple programs. Bharat Prabhu, I'm seeing you're skipping your 16 rounds. Like this, devotees would have pointed out to him. But there was no one to correct him. It was just him and his mind. And the problem is, mind will always tell us that we are the best devotee. Mind will never find fault with us. The only thing that will find fault with us is our intelligence. But usually our intelligence is weak. That's why we need support from other devotees. So mind will always tell us we're the best devotee. Mind will always tell us we're doing everything perfect. So for Bharat Maharaj, there was no other devotees to find fault with him or to correct him or to advise him or guide him. It was just him and his mind. So he thought he was doing everything nicely. He was skipping his 16 rounds, he was skipping his daily puja, he was skipping his bhajan, and he just got completely absorbed with the deer. Next life he became a deer. And he was in the level of bhava. So in this way Mahaprabhu explains that every stage of bhakti, even at the stage of bhava, even at the stage of Krishna Prema, we need Sadhu Sangha. At no point in time we can say we don't need association of devotees. So we should always remember that the more we feel ourselves dependent on other devotees, more we're advancing in spiritual life. More we think we can do everything on our own endeavor, the more neophyte we are. Okay, we'll stop here. Shri Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai, Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.